Xbox On. Welcome to Xbox On, a podcast with one host about one console, Xbox. I'm said host Jesse DeRosa, and on today's episode, we'll be talking about the latest Xbox news for the week of August 20th, 2026, including Xbox is rumored to have a surprise at Gamescom next week. The worst Call of Duty developer was pitching Halo ideas recently. Beware of GTA 6 spoilers, and more. On this week in Xbox history, in the year 2013, oops, totally skipped this segment. I'm looking at it, I realize this is last week's note. I don't fucking know. Let's find out in real time. Let's look at it in real time, guys. Moby Games, this day in history. Was it August 20th? All right, let's scroll. Xbox wasn't around in 98. Let's keep going. There we go. Dead to Rights came out on the original Xbox in 2002, 24 years ago. Yeah, I told you guys, I never miss. This podcast is always so well prepared, so well rehearsed, everything just so, so smooth. It always goes off without a hitch. Welcome to the Xbox On podcast. I had to do jump cuts in real time in order to keep your attention in this TikTok-addled brain world we live in. Guys, it's episode 377, which is, of course, Phil Spencer's favorite number, so be sure to wish him a happy episode 377 if you happen to see him out there on Twitter or something this week. All right, let's talk about some notable game releases. Bunch of things to talk about here. Lately I've been poking and prodding around a little bit more than usual on like store pages like Steam. I think this started over the past year as I've started to, sneak more and more into the into the Steam ecosystem, into the PC gaming ecosystem, and start to, I did the whole journey where a couple months I was mostly just playing PC games. I got the Steam Deck. I returned the Steam Deck. I got the ROG Ally. Anyway, I've just been having a little bit of an extra eye towards and a little bit more consideration for the indie space. And so I'm going to try to start pointing out some more games that I know a thing or two about, or that just look interesting, that are maybe of a lesser known variety, rather than just being like, hey, the big games. So I don't know. I thought it'd be fun because there's just a lot of exciting stuff happening in the indie space. And there's just, one thing I'll say about people who are solely PC gamers is that you guys have the opportunity, by focusing solely on that platform, to not only have 99% of all the best games coming out these days, because mostly everyone supports PC, and maybe 90% because you don't get Nintendo. Anyway, but in addition to that, you just get such a fucking glut of amazing indie support. And if you really do a little bit of legwork, and sometimes it's fun, you can just discover so many things that like nobody will ever mention, but they're great games. Anyway, let's talk about this. Starting with an obvious one, a bigger one. Stalker 2, Cost of Hope. It's a DLC for Stalker 2 that is out as of the day this podcast goes live. So I haven't even played Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl, so I can't imagine getting into this. Instant backlog game for me. So big DLC there for Stalker 2. Next up, this is one I've been seeing people talk about a little bit. I've seen a couple trailers. This game looks actually really quite good. I think it was at an Xbox partner preview event, if I'm not mistaken, earlier in the year. But it is Sinking City 2. I don't even know about Sinking City 1, or maybe that's Miami. No, Sinking City 2. It's already out. It came out August 18th. And this game is a third-person survival horror game set in a 1920s Arkham. Set in 1920s Arkham is what it says. Anyway, basically, it's like Resident Evil, but in a flooded city, and it looks pretty cool. Obviously, it doesn't have the AAA level of polish and sheen of like a Resident Evil game, but it does look quite good. From Frogwares, I believe, is the developer. But anyway, this game looks pretty nice. If you're looking for something to kind of kick off the spooky season as we start to really get near that, as August starts to, we're in the latter half of the month, right before the September, really once Labor Day's over, it's Halloween. But here in Orlando, Halloween kind of starts like August 1st. But anyway, I'm starting to get in the Halloween spirit, so this is looking a little attractive to me. Am I going to play it? Fuck no. There's no free time. There's no extra money after all the other games coming out. But does it look good? Yeah. Will I wishlist it and maybe one day buy it, but maybe probably still then not play it? I could see that happening. All right, guys. Next up is a game I played the demo for on Steam, and I honestly am surprised this game is making its way over to console. But Berry, and it's berry like the fruit, berry like burying something, like burying a fruit or burying a dead body, and then again berry like the fruit. So berry. This is a really don't really know how to describe the fuck of this game. It is a weird little game where you are in a room and all these fruits are popping up and you got to take them from one side of the room and bury them on the other side of the room. And there's like a bed on one side and there's like a hole on the other side. And you play as like these little star creature things and there's gnomes. And I don't know how to explain this game. It sounds like an acid trip and maybe it is, but it's cute and it's weird and it's got PS1 graphics and it's got this TV filter thing going on over the screen. And it's from a studio called Black Lantern Collective. And I can't tell after I played this demo on Steam a few months ago if I thought this game was awesome or just absolutely mind-numbingly dumb. I'll never know. I really don't know if I ever got into like what the game truly is, how it's meant to be played, because it just seemed like this monotonous game where you just take berries from one side of the room to the other and bury them. And it's cute. So that's out. All right, then the last game I want to talk about is one that comes out this Friday that looks pretty cool. A little generic, I'll be honest, a little generic, but again, I'm starting to get in the mood for my favorite season, which is the fall Halloween season. So this game is really doing it for me. I've said a number of times on the podcast, I don't know what it is about horror, but it's like horror in video games, love it. Horror in novels, yeah, like I don't read a lot of horror novels, but I respect it. I appreciate it. Horror, like going to like haunted houses and things like that around Halloween, can't get enough of it. Love it. Horror movies, no thanks. I don't care. I think I hate them. I don't want to watch them. They just so unamusing to me. I don't know where that comes from, but I've tried to. The more I've realized that about myself, I've tried to lean into it more and be like, all right, so I'm not a horror guy movie, so I'll just play some horror video games or go to a haunted house instead. But anyway, this is a horror game that really struck me because it's got the creepiest motherfucking box art I've ever seen. It will strike fear into your heart. But this game is called Psalm 5:19 through 13, which is of course a Bible reference, the book of Psalm chapter 5 verses 19 through 13. And the description reads, step into Psalm 5:19-13, a first-person psychological horror game with a VHS effect and a tense, oppressive atmosphere. At first glance, this place seems ordinary, but the further you go, the more it reveals its true nature. Explore the location, search for anomalies, and keep moving as frightening things wait along the way. Built as a short walking simulator experience, this game focuses on tension, unsettling details, realistic visuals, high-quality sound, and a compact horror journey that can be completed in about 30 minutes. Boy, that sounds good to me. 30 minutes? Nice. Maybe a little on the short side. Maybe like an hour to 2 hours would be ideal. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know how much this is running for, actually. So I'd have to look that up. But I feel like, this is like an $8 to $15 game. That might be a good evening, one time as you're gearing up for Halloween. I might play that with my girlfriend. It looks pretty good. There's a lot of these kinds of like low poly, like little horror games that have this like 90s VHS effect thing going on. And I have a ton of them in my wish list I want to get to. I don't think this is one of those from that like same studio. It's from Axios Games. I don't know. I'd have to look into it further. I didn't, but it looks good. It looks cool. It looks creepy. It looks a little generic. It looks like there's a lot of other indie horror games that kind of look like this, but I assume if you're into some of these, you probably, this is right up your alley, and it's just another one. Why not, just kind of check off. The way I view horror is it's very similar to like comic book and superhero stuff, where it's like, if you're a fan of horror, you're kind of down for just more schlocky B-movie, like just churning bullshit. Like someone who isn't into horror or might not be into superheroes might, as an outsider looking in, judge you for being like, it's just the same shit again and again and again. You keep going back for more. And, like as someone who loves superheroes, I'm like, hell yeah, it's the same shit over and over again. I never get tired of it. I assume that's kind of how it is for fans of horror, where it's like, yeah, the tropes are the same all the time. In games, the mechanics are the same all the time, but if you like it, you like it. You can't get enough. So I assume that's how that works. But anyway, that's it for notable game releases. Guys, we're going to move into the news, but before we do, I'm just going to tell you straight up, this week's podcast, News is a little light. There's a lot of little things to touch on, which I feel like I say too often these days, but it is true, and I feel like this is an opportunity for me to fuck around with the formula of the podcast. Not so much the formula, but more the pacing of the show. I'm going to do a pretty abbreviated episode this week, just in terms of just not lingering too long on any one thing. Also, we just don't have a lot of listener comments around that stuff today. So I'm gonna see, like, because back in the early days of Xbox On, it was common for an episode to be like between 45 minutes and an hour long. Nowadays, it's common for an episode to be like 2 to 2.5 hours. So I'm going to see what happens if we do like a 45, 55 minute episode of Xbox On. You guys let me know what you think. I'm curious what your feedback is. Do you like the long drawn out bullshit that the show normally is? I assume that's kind of how this show has, what little audience it has, is that some of you guys are mentally deficient enough to enjoy that. Or maybe you think, hey, having it be more like well-paced and be more of like on to the next thing keeps the show fresh and interesting and engaging, even if it's a short experience. I don't know. Maybe it makes it less intimidating to listen to, since it's not so much of an undertaking. So we'll give it a try. Maybe I'll do it a couple of weeks. I don't know. I just figure with it being a slower, lower news week, it'd be a good opportunity to test this out. So if you will, be a darling. Let me know what you think. Give me your feedback on this week's podcast, in this attempt to do a slightly shorter paced episode. Anyway, let's move into the news with that said, starting with a couple things that are just kind of like reminders or tidbits. Big thing here is that Xbox will be at Gamescom, and this is next week. So next week, Xbox will be at Gamescom. They will be doing lots of streaming broadcasting from their Xbox booth on August 26th and 7th. If you go to Xbox's YouTube or Twitch page, you can follow them there and follow their streams. They're going to be doing lots of deep dives at their booth, having developer interviews and things like that. And they're going to be showcasing, they say they're going to be showcasing 25 upcoming games. But you know, they specifically highlight Modern Warfare 4, Fable, Minecraft Dungeons 2, Gears of War E-Day, Metro 2039, Stranger Than Heaven, Alien Isolation 2. So they're going to be talking about, you know, the games that we are expecting to come hit Xbox in the next, anywhere from 1 to 10 months, so to speak. So I think, yeah, I don't know, like, Xbox used to try to do another like E3 style showcase in the middle of Gamescom, which I thought was just kind of too much padding for the sake of trying to be at all these events. I like that they've kind of stepped back from that, but I think it could be fun to have these like smaller Xbox streams kind of going in the background for a long duration of time. Maybe you're cleaning the house, or you're cooking, or you're playing a game on your Switch, or you're, I don't know, like doing one thing and kind of multitasking. You can just have this on the background on the TV and just kind of tune in and out throughout the week as they showcase these games and do developer interviews and kind of give us these deep dives on things that are happening in the world of Xbox. But here's the thing, is that there is a rumor swirling around that there's going to be some kind of big announcement, some kind of like big reveal or something. A lot of people are thinking it's a game announcement, but I don't know if that's the case. Reliable leakers and people like that on the internet are saying that it's likely going to be some kind of game announcement. I wonder what that could be. I don't even really care to speculate for the most part. What I'd like to find out, fucking spam calls. What I'd really like to find out is, or see, is for there to be this surprise announcement, and it's something about backwards compatibility, in relation to the 25th anniversary Xbox, or maybe bringing some old licensed Activision titles forward, as we're all highly anticipating and hoping for. I need something like that, man. Like, yeah, that's cool. You can announce a new game or give us some really exciting news about a game that we know of but haven't seen in a while or haven't seen much of. That'd be cool, but like, I'm hoping for something that like revolutionizes or helps transform the way I engage with Xbox as a platform. And I feel like going back to the well with the backwards compatibility stuff and really trying to get those important games that you haven't been able to get, especially that licensed stuff, I feel like that would be, it's just such an obvious one. And with Xbox trying to get all these little easy gimme points right now with fans, I feel like this is the biggest easy thing they could do. Not to say that it's necessarily easy to do, but it's just in the grand scheme of things, I feel like you don't need to throw that many resources at this problem in order to solve it. Yet, here we are all these years later still asking why we can't play X-Men Apocalypse on our Xbox Series X. But anyway, So that's Xbox at Gamescom. I'm kind of looking forward to maybe keeping it on in the background and seeing like if anything interesting happens. What is that? Next Wednesday, Thursday? Fuck it. Never mind. I'll be at work / doing this podcast. Fuck me, I guess. Xbox, you done it again. All right, moving on. Oh, and hopefully we get whatever that announcement is before the show records next week so we can talk about it, you know. All right, next up, a little PSA about Grand Theft Auto 6. Apparently, there are leaked videos of gameplay circulating the internet, so I don't really want to get into it all that much. It has apparently something to do with people protesting the lack of a physical version of the game. If you're doing that, you are such a fucking loser and you need a life. But I just want to bring this up to say, you know, I mean, listen, if you don't care about the spoilers, by all means, ruin it for yourself. But if you're trying to remain spoiler free or you're trying to remain wholesome when it comes to Grand Theft Auto 6, maybe just be on the lookout to try and avoid those kinds of things. But I just thought I'd throw that out there. The next thing I want to do is a little shout out for an article on Windows Central that went live today as the time I'm recording this, from our guy Jez Corden, of course, our Xbox guru Jez Corden, who interviewed, you know, had some brief correspondences with former VFX artist and technical art and design producer Andrew Willis of id Software, who was just laid off recently during the massive Xbox layoffs, as well as executive producer and long-term guy at id Software, Marty Stratton. So he got like these correspondences and light interviews with these two guys to kind of get to the bottom of like the future of id Software and where things are. And there's just, it's an interesting read. There's some interesting quotes, and I just wanted to throw out there, I think this is something worth maybe going to Windows Central and reading about for yourself, because there's all this back and forth about id Software is being cut too much to continue to work on id Tech, and oh man, how are they going to make a new game? They're just going to be a supports team at this point. And it's interesting to read these quotes. Marty Stratton seems to really believe that's not the case at all, and that they're going to continue on as they always have. Whereas Andrew Willis believes there's a lot of you know, corporate cover up to try and lighten the blow that was the gutting of this team. So I just thought it'd be an interesting thing to direct you to. Maybe check it out if you're interested in seeing these quotes and reading more about it. All right, next up, kind of another PSA, kind of the first news story. The thing I want to get into is let's talk about something exciting that's going on imminently for all of us here on Xbox. If you have a big PP and you have a desire to play cool video games that are fun to play with friends or alone, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 beta, baby boy, it is almost here, dude. I can't wait. So this podcast goes live on Thursday the 20th, and then one sleep later on Friday the 21st, the Modern Warfare 4 beta goes live. Now, that is for cool people like me who have pre-ordered the game. Actually, I haven't pre-ordered the game yet. I got to pre-order it so I can get access to this. But wait, no, I did. I did pre-order. I don't fucking know. Maybe I pre-ordered it. We'll find out. But you get access to the beta if you've pre-ordered the game this weekend from, what is it, Friday the 21st until Tuesday the 25th. That's a pretty generous amount of time. And then after that, the beta ends. And then again, as they do pretty much every year at this point, a little bit later on August 28th, which is the following Friday, the beta picks back up, but this time it's an open beta, so you do not have to have the game pre-ordered. Anyone with a Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, whatever online thing can just go on the store, download, and play the beta from Friday, the 28th of August until September 1st, which is, again, another Tuesday. So they're both Friday to Tuesday experiences. The first one's for pre-orders. The second one's open to everyone. And for the first time, they're really exploring what all a beta should include, because they're adding a lot of stuff. So the Modern Warfare 4 beta is going to come out with let's see, I'm reading this from purexbox.com. There's a lot of stuff to check out in the beta, including a surprise edition in the form of Entrenched, a level from the game's single-player campaign. Elsewhere, you're going to get 6 multiplayer maps across 9 game modes during opening weekend, while weekend 2 includes even more maps and game modes, along with a special Warzone Resurgence map. So Warzone and campaign in a beta. They really want to sell you on this game after an off year last year that was Black Ops 7. The Modern Warfare 4 open beta goes ahead. We already talked about that with the weekends. Okay, so yeah, And then, of course, something to keep in mind, if you are a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, that does nothing for you this year. You have to spend your hard-earned dollars to pre-order this game in order to play this upcoming weekend's beta, which is something that I'm happy to say and something that is fine by me, as I think we need to put our dollars on the games we want to play in order to get access in a world where things like Game Pass are clearly fucking destroying the industry. So that makes me happy to see. But yeah, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, I'm ready. I got this weekend blocked out. I'm not doing shit. My plan is to play from Friday night until Sunday night, and then probably not Monday, Tuesday, because I really don't play video games on weekdays. But I'm looking forward to hopefully falling in love with the Call of Duty again, because 2022's Modern Warfare 2, I loved. 2023's Modern Warfare 3 from Sledgehammer sucked ass. Black Ops 6 the next year from Treyarch disappointed me, but wasn't bad. And then Black Ops 7 from Treyarch the year later actually has really great multiplayer, but dog shit everything else. And overall, I just got distracted by it because Battlefield 6 was so great last year. But this year, I am ready to come back to Infinity Ward and to be amazed again. I hope that this game resonates with me at least half as much as Modern Warfare 2 did in 2022. So I'm personally really excited, but that's it. In Call of Duty land, that's what we're looking forward to. I know a lot of hardcore gamers aren't crazy on Call of Duty, but the numbers don't lie. People play that game. All right, let's talk about Halo. Let's start to transition slowly as we talk about a Call of Duty developer and Halo. So this is from Insider Gaming. Originally it's from Rebs Gaming, of course, who's like the one-stop shop guy for all things Halo leaks and rumors. But Insider Gaming had the scoop on this and said, or kind of relayed this first, and said that Xbox has reportedly explored having Activision's Sledgehammer Games develop a Halo multiplayer game, but it canceled a prototype and no game has been approved yet. The latest report comes from Rebs Gaming on YouTube. In a recent upload, he explores how much outsourcing went into developing the Halo campaign Evolved and suggests that the franchise's future will heavily rely on outsourcing. So awesome. As the video continued, Rebs discusses a rumor for the next Halo game codenamed Project Ecker that will be a multiplayer-focused experience following a rumor that Microsoft explored an Activision-backed Halo multiplayer game with Sledgehammer. Rebs says that the source approached him and explained the proposal included Sledgehammer Games pitching in on development. Activision reportedly canceled the early prototype in July, but talks may continue. In a statement last month, when gaming journalist and insider Jez Corden from Windows Central said that he heard a rumor that Microsoft might have Activision develop Halo games, a few weeks later, Insider Gaming, spoke to sources who previously sent a bunch of campaign Evolved information that turned out to be 100% accurate. They told me that Microsoft is exploring the proposition to have Activision help develop Halo games, which includes having Sledgehammer Games help develop a Halo multiplayer game. They also said that Activision started testing a prototype of Halo pitch in June. Apparently, it was on the blockout phase, and only a basic gameplay mechanics such as player movement were tested. However, I'm told that this was canceled in early July. Canceling the pitch prototype does not mean Activision won't help on Halo games, according to my source. Microsoft is exploring the proposition, but they have not greenlit anything yet. So I think here, I know a lot of people are really disheartened to hear this, and I don't personally like Sledgehammer Games. I think they get the short end of the stick almost always, and so we've seldom seen them really be able to fully flex their muscles. But I feel like between Call of Duty World War II and Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, we've kind of seen them do that, and it's not been great. And then everything since then has been kind of like just some sacrifice bullshit last minute project that Activision throws them to, while they basically just feed Infinity Ward and Treyarch with all the proper time and money and attention to develop games as needed. Anyway, that being said, I know a lot of people are rubbed the wrong way because they feel like this is unfair to Halo to have to make the Call of Duty guys take it over or assist with it, because it used to be that like Halo was the top dog and Call of Duty was like the lesser of the two, and now it's like, oh, how the tables have turned. But listen, the truth of the matter is Halo has been in trouble for a long time, so if something like this can help get it back on track, then so be it. Although another thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way here is it's like, I don't think you should potentially risk sacrificing some of the Call of Duty pipeline to try and help Halo, because that's a risky thing when Call of Duty is your bread and butter now at Xbox. It is your moneymaker, so you're really not ought to not mess with it. But if they're able to, I guess, figure out a way to make it worth their while to have Sledgehammer help on Halo while not having it affect Call of Duty, then good for them if they can figure that out. The other thing is, I mean, I feel like this just adds more and more to the soulless feeling that is what's left of Halo, where it's like, what is Halo? Who makes Halo? Who owns Halo? Like, it just, I don't know, man. You got the fucking Advanced Warfare guys working on Halo, maybe. It's like, just certain affinity. Absolutely. They're a great partner team. 343, when they're a developer, not some support bullshit last leg kind of hackney group. Yeah, of course. But like, come on, we don't. If you're going to outsource, listen, everyone seems to be okay with the idea of like 343 making good mainline Halo games. And then on the side, you can give, id Software or Treyarch or whatever, the Halo IP to do a Flood spin-off game from Treyarch or some badass, like fucking crazy, I guess I'm also thinking Flood type game from id Software. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But like doing these spin-offs, like that's an idea, but I just feel like this is one of the weakest teams you could throw at this series. And I just feel like Sledgehammer hasn't even proven themselves really with Call of Duty. So why would you trust them with your most historical and important, like culturally important IP? Halo is not the most important IP for Xbox anymore in terms of profitability and monetary value. It's Minecraft, it's Halo, it's things like that. It's Fallout in Elder Scrolls. But I think Halo is still the most important IP just from the perspective of like personal historical reasons and for posterity. Oh my God, I can't speak. And that's why I think it still matters. And so it just kind of rubs me the wrong way that you would entertain the idea of being like, yeah, let's have Sledgehammer help you out here. It's like, holy shit. I thought we were trying to fix Halo, not make it worse. But anyway, I don't know, man. I definitely believe there's got to be a lot of truth to this idea of like trying to get other teams to help out with Halo. I just don't know that I agree that this is the way to go about it. All right, let's continue on with Halo. Marcus Leto, known as the father of Master Chief and co-creator of the Halo universe, after working on as art director on the original Halo, recently took to social media to share his thoughts on the art style of the recently released campaign-evolved remake. He said on Twitter, he shows a picture side by side of the Halo ring from Combat Evolved on Xbox versus the updated version of it for Campaign Evolved, and says, while Forerunner tech was metal, not stone, it was also ancient, vast, alive, and a tomb to the horrors that lurked within. It had seen hundreds of millennia of conflict, yet the game shows a shiny metal that looks like it was built a few years ago. The main menu ring in Campaign Evolved is the most offensive thing we see every time we boot up the game. It should feel massive, dark, mysterious, sinister, but also full of wonder. This new ring looks like a shiny new toy, out of scale, no mystery, damn ugly. So, I mean, normally you don't read stuff like that, but again, it just goes to show how far it feels like they've fallen off. Because I mean, this is like one of the most important voices out there for Halo. And it's just so sad that after all these years, still the sentiment is like, you're doing it wrong. Now, I'm not as much of a hater and a critic on these things. I don't like that they try to backtrack the art style of Halo after Halo 5. I think it makes less sense than going from Halo 3 to 4's art style. But that being said, listen, I don't think they always get it 100% right, but I generally like what 343 does with Halo's art direction. I think it looks pretty good. And if you got a different team doing Halo, you got to take some artistic liberties. But yeah, I mean, still, that's some serious shade being thrown by the father of it all. So it's like you gotta kind of take it seriously, even if you don't like the way it sounds. But I just thought that was kind of a wild quote. All right, next up, let's talk about the what analysts are saying about the prospect of $1,000+ next gen Xbox or PlayStation So, according to Ampere Analysis, which gets brought up on the show from time to time, which has produced a new report suggesting that if Sony and Microsoft decide to launch conventionally designed, incrementally improved next-generation consoles in 2028 at the price point of $1,000 or more, the rate at which players will buy those consoles will drop considerably compared to this current generation. Specifically, its scenario forecast suggests that the combined number of PS6 and Xbox Helix consoles sold after the first 5 years could be up to 38% lower than the combined sales of PS5 and Series consoles over the same period. This would also lead to an impact on consumer spending, with Ampere estimating that by 2031, the console games and services market across PlayStation and Xbox would be at $3.4 billion, which is 12% lower than if the consoles were sold for $700. Ampere has suggested 3 potential strategic models for these companies if they want to avoid launching launching at $1,000 and sell for a low of a new price as possible. First, they could continue with their current strategy to release incrementally improved versions of the previous hardware, but delay the launch of the next-gen console beyond 2028, extending the life cycle of the current consoles while they wait to see if the cost components eventually drop in price. I would love for that to be the approach, because I don't think we need a new generation right now, but I just don't think that's where we're headed. The second suggestion is that they could continue to aim for a 2028 window expected by analysts, but reduce the prices by making use of heavier hardware subsidies, new monetization models, more aggressive digital content strategies, and optimized sales channels. So I think that means things like sell your console direct to consumer through like the PlayStation Direct store, the Xbox website. It means things like no disk drive in the console, which I think is a given. It means things like I don't even know what it means by heavy hardware subsidies. If they're talking more about like what Asha Sharma's talking about with trying to like replace hardware components with software, or if they're talking about getting different kind of deals or what. New monetization models. What does that mean? The fucking ads built into the box? I don't know. But the third one that they recommend or suggest is that they could pivot to a different direction and sustainably innovate on hardware, form factor, and use cases, placing less emphasis on graphical power. This would allow them to offer next-gen experience with the current-gen hardware. It could keep prices lower, similar to the Nintendo strategy used back during the Nintendo Wii. Now, I love this strategy. It's the strategy I want, because I have been, jumping from Xbox 360 to Xbox One. I remember playing Titanfall for the first time and be like, this game looks incredible, but I don't feel like this jump from 360 to Xbox One is impressing me nearly as much as the jump from Xbox to Xbox 360. And then I remember getting my Xbox Series X in the mail on day one and playing Destiny 2 on it as my first game, and going, wow, this game looks and runs so much better and snappier and looks so much prettier than it did on my Xbox One. However, I kind of don't care, and I'm kind of immediately over everything that makes this console unique and new. I just like that the console's really fast and that the controller feels new in my hands and fresh and clean. Other than that, it's pretty underwhelming. I think making a new Xbox that's like more than double the price of the Xbox you released last time, that was also kind of underwhelming in terms of its leap forward, I think is kind of a death sentence. But if you have an angle, if you have a niche, if you have an approach to the market that makes your console stand out and be this unique one of a kind, you gotta, even if you're not gonna buy it, you gotta at least stop and look at it and admire it. If you have an approach like that, suddenly it's a totally different story, and you can even help keep costs down by being like, yeah, the new Xbox actually isn't even that much more powerful than the current Xbox. However, it's what the device actually is that's important. I think that is a way, way cooler idea. I love the idea of the next Xbox being like probably no more powerful than like maybe a PS5 Pro. It's really not that substantially better, but it is a console hybrid PC device that has this bespoke version of Windows that's locked down and helps it run smooth and salient like an Xbox, but also gives you all the benefits and perks of basically being on a PC, allowing you to open up your library to more titles and more storefronts and things like that. It's like, that's interesting. Now, I still think the alternate storefront idea is kind of a death nail for Xbox, because it doesn't really make financial sense to allow people to play Steam on their Xbox. But I like that line of thinking where it's like, we're going to do something different. Nintendo did it by being like, fuck, the Wii is barely any more powerful than the GameCube, but here's motion controls, you know, it's like whatever the angle is. I like that. I want us to be able to take the Xbox console library and the Xbox PC library, or just the PC library, into merge these two things seamlessly into one, but have it still look and feel and play like an Xbox. I think that to me is like the ultimate vision, and that's the most tantalizing future for Xbox. And I think that's an interesting thing that would have me way more excited than a box that doesn't play shit from my PC, but costs $1,200 and is just an Xbox Series X, but it's twice as powerful. But because of where we are with games these days, nothing I play on it really looks or feels that much better, because we've already kind of peaked in terms of tech and game performance and design and things like that. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, I'm sure, like, if video game hardware got canceled, they could continue to release games on the Xbox Series X and PS5, for the next 10 years, and games would still look and run fantastic, because we're just at that point. I just don't need my graphics to be. I understand the performance and the power of the console has to improve with every generation, but like, we don't need a generational leap forward. We just need some new ideas, because I just can't imagine Call of Duty Modern Warfare 6 is going to look and run and be such an incredible product that just would never be capable of running on my Xbox Series X, that I would need an Xbox Helix in order to run it. I just can't imagine that being the case, and therefore I just don't feel like we really need a leap forward in power. But anyway, I know this is a lot of things that have been talked about ad nauseum about these consoles, is like, wow, what is that going to do to the adoption rate of these consoles if they're this expensive? I don't fucking know, man, but I don't think there's a chance in hell that either of these consoles are as massively successful as the generations that came before them. I think the idea is that the line between like what's last gen and current gen has bled over so much that if you don't want to buy an Xbox Helix or PS6, you can continue to still play the latest and greatest games, because they'll be coming to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles for a very, very long time, due to the power of those consoles and the understood lack of adoption that this new hardware will have. All right, here's another little thing I just, something worth noting is that Compulsion Games, who recently spun off from Xbox after Xbox decided to start going crazy and firing people left and right, they've changed the publishing status of their most recent game, South of Midnight, on Steam. So if you go to Steam now, instead of saying Xbox Game Studios as the publisher, it now reads Compulsion Games. So just a little interesting thing. We know that they're trying to work with other teams and find ways to keep themselves afloat. It's cool they're able to get the credit for their game and not have to really share with Xbox anymore. So just thought that was an interesting thing to keep an eye on. All right, this next one we gotta go real fast, because I really feel sick in my stomach thinking about talking about it. But yeah, D23 took place last weekend, which is Disney's big nerd convention. And during that convention, they announced that Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to come out in 2027, no doubt about it, later in that year, and that Disney Plus is going to get a Kingdom Hearts anime show on Disney Plus and Disney Channel. And they said that Pixar's Coco is going to be in Kingdom Hearts 4, and then they showed a bunch of footage of Sora and Donald and Goofy dancing around looking like fucking sugar skulls in this undead land of the living fucking Mexican Halloween fiesta party town. And it hurt, and it was very anime, and Sora was all like, I may look dead on the outside, but I've never felt more alive. And Goofy's like, gosh, with friends like these, who needs blood coursing through my veins? I'm a damn skeleton. I don't fucking know what happened. But Kingdom Hearts 4 is unfortunately still well into development, and apparently for certain coming out in about a year. So unfortunately, you're going to have to brace for that. Please tell your loved ones so they know where to look for you if and when that game comes out. Now, here's something that some people are suggesting might be the big announcement at Xbox Gamescom. If it is, I will break something because that's annoying as hell. But today, Xbox and IKEA, yes, IKEA like the furniture store, both teased on their Instagram pages, a little short video snippet teasing an Xbox and IKEA collaboration where there will be Xbox inspired furniture coming to IKEA. They tease this throw pillow that looks like the shape of an X, and then this they show a stool, like a bar stool that looks like an analog stick from an Xbox controller. So this is weird. It's it looks a little gaudy. It actually looks kind of like, there's something I kind of like about the tease of this furniture, because it has a little bit of like a Y2K kind of look to it, and that's kind of a thing that's coming back right now. And as someone who's born in '95, Y2K is a look that is very nostalgic and appealing to me. Now, would I ever buy Xbox furniture and put it in my house? Never say never, but I just can't imagine that they're going to reveal anything with this lineup that's really going to make me go, oh, hey, babe, we got to get the Xbox on, fucking couch cushions for when, guests are over. Oh, we got to get the Xbox ice maker. I don't fucking know. It makes me feel weird in a good way. Maybe if I could get an Xbox toilet plunger or an Xbox mirror. Where you look at it and it just every time you look in the mirror, it just shows Master Chief. So you never actually get to see what you look like for the day. I don't know. That might be something worth looking into. Maybe a couch that overheats like the Red Ring of Death. That would be something that they could do. I'm running out of ideas. But listen, we'll probably learn about this pretty soon. I swear to God, this is the Gamescom thing. I mean, I get it. IKEA's European. Gamescom takes place in Europe. Please don't do this. Please don't make this be. I mean, you could talk about it at Gamescom, it's fine, but don't let that be the reveal, Come on now. All right. Xbox Insiders. This comes from Xbox Wire. There is a bunch of new improvements for Xbox Insiders coming to your home, your Xbox experience, your home screen, your hub, your navigation, all these things. So if you're in the Alpha Skip Ahead ring or Alpha members of Xbox Insiders program, then you can probably start seeing these features pop up in the coming days. But yeah, they're gonna add what is this? You can now remove any item or list using the menu button, including play. What? Hang on, let me read this. I think I missed this one. We've heard from players. This is from Xbox Wire. We've heard from players who want more control over what shows up in their recent games and apps list on the top of their home. You can now remove any item in that list using the menu button, including a play history tile, making it easier to keep home focused on what matters most to you. That actually speaks to my OCD so fucking much, because there are times where I turn on my Xbox and it shows in ascending order the most recent things you played. So like you turn on, it's like, oh, Gears E-Day beta, then Halo campaign evolves, then Skyrim, then Doom the Dark Ages, whatever. And it like shows like these are the most recent games you played in order of recency. But sometimes something that drives my OCD nuts, it doesn't matter, it just drives my OCD nuts, is like I'll turn on my Xbox and it's like, fuck it. I see the fucking Fortnite logo because my girlfriend booted up Fortnite while I was logged in on the Xbox. Or like I'll see the stupid Blu-ray app player because my girlfriend plugged in a DVD and watched a DVD on my Xbox like some kind of person from 1996. And I just go, it just drives me nuts. It's so unimportant. I never mention it to her because it's just such an unimportant thing. And I'm not trying to start a fight here. But that is awesome to think that I could turn on my Xbox and be like, there we go. Gears, E-Day, Halo, fucking Fortnite, and then just hit the menu button and take it off of there. I like that. I like that a lot. Xbox, that is the most unnecessary quality of life feature that's going to put a big smile on my stupid face. So I like that. All right, they also talk about how you can try a new immersive background mode that lets your dynamic or custom background take center stage by pressing the right thumbstick on the controller anywhere on the home to fade away the UI and enjoy the background without distractions. That's pretty cool. Also, you can sort and delete local game saves that aren't currently in use, helping you make space for games that you're currently playing. Whether you want to delete a single large file or clean up unused local saves at once, you can now have more visibility in your control over your console storage. Profile badges now tell your Xbox journey, whatever that means. You can now view detailed information about every badge displayed on your profile. That's good because I never know what any of those are, including high-resolution artwork and details about when and how it was unlocked. Whether you're revisiting your own collection or exploring with friends, whatever, who gives a shit? Starting today, purchased games will automatically be removed from your wish list. helping you spend less time managing your library and more time playing. I didn't realize that was a thing that they didn't have until actually like a week ago. I realized I pre-ordered the Gears E-Day. I downloaded Gears E-Day. I pre-ordered it and it was still in my wish list. I was like, why? So that's cool that they're fixing that. And then lastly, to help celebrate 25 years of Xbox, we're recognizing another milestone in Xbox history. On November 22nd, 2013, the Xbox One was released, ushering in a new generation of entertainment that pissed off pretty much everyone but Jesse. Many of you earned an elusive Day One achievement on that day, and we loved seeing the creative ways you've continued to keep it pinned to your profiles over the years. Starting today, players who unlocked the Day One achievement will receive a new commemorative Day One profile badge, recognizing that they were there when it all began. I totally forgot that was a thing. That if you played Xbox One the day it came out, you got that achievement. That makes me so mad because I got my Xbox One when the console was like 3 months old, so I don't have that. I also remember it had the Day One controller where it was like the regular controller, but it just said Day One 2013 or something in the middle of the controller. That pisses me off because that's something I'll never have now. That drives me nuts. Thanks Xbox. You're reminding me of something that is hurting my head. All right, guys, let's wrap up this news segment with the games coming and leaving Game Pass over the remainder of the month. So available as of now, Game Pass subscribers can look forward to Egging On, which joins Premium Game Pass Ultimate and PC, Vapor World Over the Mind, which is a Day One Game Pass game that's out now, Blaze Blue Entropy Effect X, which is Japanese as hell, on Game Pass Premium now, Ultimate and PC. Retooled comes to cloud, console, and PC on August 19th, and then Star Sand Islands is now a Game Pass Premium game after being an Ultimate and PC for a while. Now coming soon on Xbox. Holy shit, that's some crazy ass rain. Aerial Knights Drop Shot comes to Xbox Cloud, console, handheld, and PC on August 25th. It comes to Premium after being an Ultimate for a while. Blood Dungeon comes to Game Pass Day One Game Pass on August 25th. Resonance, the new Plague Tale game, which is a huge get, is a Day One Game Pass game on August 27th that releases. My hopes of catching up on that series and playing this month is surely my hopes on that have been crushed, and that's not happening. But Young Sons comes to Game Pass on August 31st for cloud, console, and PC. And then Shell Divers, that's right, not Helldivers, comes on September 1st to Ultimate, Premium, and PC Game Pass. Now, on August 31st, the following games will be leaving Xbox Game Pass, so try them before they're gone. Another Crab's Treasure, I Am Your Beast, Neon Abyss, One Lonely Outpost, and Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Remastered. Also, a week later on September 6th, NBA 2K26 will be leaving Game Pass, so give them a go before they're gone, although you can just play the new basketball game instead. Holy crap, that's like some of the most intense rain I've seen in Florida in a long-ass time. That's kind of wild. All right, with that rain kind of picking up, let's move ahead to the what it is I've been playing this week. So two things really to talk about here, but I played just a little bit more of the Gears of War E-Day beta, a little bit more of the Horde mode, because let's be honest, the PvP was pissing me off. I can't hang with those guys, but I really like this game's Horde mode a lot. But also I feel like Gears of War Horde mode is not enough to keep me distracted in a world where there are so many new games that are so exciting and so enticing. And it's just thinking about like competing for time with like Modern Warfare 4 and new games coming out like Wolverine and GTA 6 and stuff. It's like, listen, Gears of War E-Day is a game I'm so excited for. The campaign is going to be awesome. I can't wait. The Horde mode, I'll dabble in it. I'll play it a little bit. I'll enjoy it. The PvP, I'll probably play one more time and then rage quit and throw a controller at the fucking wall. But the thing about Gears of War is it's never been really a game for me in terms of its multiplayer. I've always been like a campaign kind of guy and then you move on. So I think this game feels better than any Gears of War I've ever played. It looks better than any Gears of War I've ever played. I can't wait to experience the campaign. I'm very excited for it. I think the Horde mode is very interesting. It's a nice build on Horde mode, and I love the extraction mechanic at the end of the exfil mechanic that's now at the end of it. I think it gives the game mode a nice finality and gives you something to kind of look forward to as you wrap up a session. But other than that, I just feel like Gears of War multiplayer It wasn't for me then. It's still not for me now. And I kind of hate to admit it because I always want to be more of a Gears guy than I am. But I'm just being honest. And that was kind of my experience playing the Gears of War E-Day beta. Game looks and runs incredibly well. It looks so good. All right, next up, I had a weird impulsive cave in and I bought that Gears of War, that Lord of the Rings War in the North remaster that just surprise launched last week. It's on sale for like $17. So I don't know. I just got it for nostalgic purposes. I got it on Xbox. I've been mostly playing it via cloud streaming on my ROG Ally, but a little bit on my Series X as well. First of all, shout out to cloud streaming on the ROG Ally. I already liked cloud streaming on Xbox on my Logitech G Cloud that I used to have, but I like it on the ROG Ally so much more. It's even easier, even faster, and even more of a seamless experience on the ROG Ally. So I just gotta, say again, like, I actually think Xbox game streaming is a cool feature, and I actually use it. And this is the perfect kind of game to use it on. It's not twitchy, it's slow, it's just hack and slashy, old schlocky licensed whatever from 15 years ago. Nothing crazy. So kind of the perfect game for streaming. And this game is, remember, as I said last week, I played The Third Age. I played the movie license games, Twin Tower and Return of the King. I played lots of different, I loved, what is it? Lord of the Rings Conquest, the pandemic game, the Star Wars Battlefront style game they made. There are lots of Lord of the Rings games I love, and I just assumed I'd like this game a lot. I don't dislike this game. It's actually totally fine. And if there wasn't a whole lot going on right now, I'd have no problem sticking with it and completing it. And I may still do that, but I'm about 5 hours into this game. And my major takeaway is like, yeah, I'm good. I've seen enough. I'm good. First of all, the game's kind of challenging on the easiest mode, which is weird. Because it just feels like you're constantly fighting endless like enemy closets, just hordes and hordes of enemies with no end in sight. And sometimes you just have these unfair deaths and then you're restarting from a while back and have to do the whole battle again. So that's a little annoying. Feels a little old. But for the most part, playing this game single player just sometimes feels a little tedious because it's like you play a little bit, then all your characters level up, then you got to take turns switching between all your characters to distribute all of their skill points and XP points now that they're leveled up, and then you end up still not playing with two of the characters even though you're constantly having to manage their skill points and level ups. And it's just like, this is kind of like tedious. And then the combat is like good, but it's not great. So it kind of gets boring. And then like the story is just non-existent and stupid. And the game looks fine. It's up-res a little bit, but it looks fine. It's just real like licensed garbage type gaming. And I mean that in the most positive and complimentary way possible. I like it, but I just feel like there's better uses of my time right now when there's just so much vying for my time and competing. So I just personally feel like, if I don't get back to this, I'm okay with that. I may still play a few more hours of it. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty much ready to move on to the Modern Warfare 4 beta. And then from there on to a busy September, as we look forward to so many games in September. I'm very much looking forward to Wolverine. That's kind of the game I'm most jonesing for right now. And then from there, it's all on Xbox. But anyway, that's it for what I've been playing. For the most part, I've otherwise been dicking around a little bit, rummaging around Steam, playing a couple little games here and there, revisiting some other games I've been playing. I've been playing Risk of Rain 2, and I still haven't talked about that, but I don't have anything to say about it. But that's kind of it for what I've been playing. So with that said, we're going to wrap up with just a couple listener comments, the final, the best, and the last section of the game. The listener comments, you know how it goes. You go to youtube.com/Xbox On Podcast. That's at Xbox On Podcast and youtube.com. Click on the latest episode and you can say whatever the hell you want and I'll read it on the show. It's just one of those odd weeks. We didn't have a whole lot of write-ins, so we only got 2 people to read from this week. So I'll go ahead and get started with some write-ins from Cronky, who says, regarding the Elder Scrolls 6, fuck you very much, sir. You can't hurt me because I don't respect you. Also, it's 100% named Sentinel. Okay. So it'll be named Elder Scrolls 6 Sentinel. You fucking nerd. And then you also said, Blizzard being the top performer isn't surprising. They probably have small teams. Their money comes from World of Warcraft, Diablo, and Overwatch. All are live service games, so you just have teams adding content. Developing new games is expensive. Supporting existing games is cheaper. Something like Call of Duty might make tons of money, but it also costs a fortune to make. Yeah, I know those things to be true. It's just that I guess I'm just shocked. I guess I just underestimated the long-term viability of their live service games. Like, I know Overwatch is a thing, and I know World of Warcraft is still trucking along. I always kind of forget that Diablo actually works as a live service. Like, I don't view it that way, but I know that's kind of what it's become. It's just a weird reality for me, and I just can't believe it. But it's true. It's true. These games have been out for a while. They're just basically supporting them with DLC and content. It's not like they're making new $600 million games every year in order to keep these games afloat. So I guess Blizzard found something out. They figured out how to win at being a developer. It's just too bad because I'm still waiting for Blizzard to do something exciting again and be interesting again like they used to be. Like when we were kids. I mean, Blizzard was just such an uncontested champion of video games. I just feel like they're so kind of like, I don't know. It's not that they're bad now, because they're most certainly not bad. They're just kind of boring now. They're kind of lame, and it's disappointing, you know. Anyway, our other comment comes in from Calvin Trice, who says, "Wouldn't be surprised if some leave PlayStation for Xbox because of the announcement." I'm assuming the announcement you mean is the abandonment of physical media, and if that is the case, Calvin, I have news for you. Xbox is also going to be abandoning physical media. Now, if you're talking about because of Xbox's disc to digital thing that they're working on, and maybe that's the surprise announcement at Gamescom, it's possible. Then yeah, I mean, I think that's more of a goodwill gesture than anything. I don't think it really solves all the problem. For people like me, it solves the problem, because for people like me, I just don't give a shit about physical library. I want everything digital, because I'm not some weird caveman that has to have all my sticks in a pile to feel like a man. Like, I'm okay with a digital library and the convenience and modernity that comes with that. But I understand that for a lot of people, that's just not what they're looking for. It's no different from Nintendo's GameCube cards, so whatever. But I just think that the actual number of people who are really that torn up about the physical media thing, I think the actual number of people that are like that, it's got to be such a small population that at the end of the day, it just doesn't fucking matter. And if there's a way for Xbox to capitalize on this and make it a win, then that boat's already sailed, because the moment was there. They didn't take it, you know, which means Xbox has very, very similar plans as PlayStation does when it comes to physical media. And I just think that's why, you know, no one wins here. This is just an inevitable future and a thing we all have to either accept or let it spit us out of gaming. But Calvin, thank you for writing in. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you, Cronky. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Xbox On podcast. Yeah, here we are, under an hour. That's going to do it for us. So I hope you all have a fantastic week. We'll look forward to seeing what happens at Gamescom. I'm looking forward to some Modern Warfare 4. And until next week, be safe, eat well, pet your kittens on the head, and kiss them because they're so damn cute. And until next week, power your dreams.